Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Abdul Basit. I hope that you all are fine. You all are doing great. Today I have brought again a very interesting topic, a very important topic regarding English literature and regarding the history of English literature. Today I have chosen the topic of the age of Renaissance. Okay? Well, Renaissance is an age, or it's an era of proliferation of English literature. Well, during this era, during this age, a lot of literature was produced by the most prominent writers of English literature, like Christopher Marlowe, Edmund Spenser, Shakespeare, Francis Bacon, and John Milton. John Milton is actually regarded the last poet or the last writer of the Renaissance era in English literature. So, what is Renaissance actually? Renaissance is a French word that means rebirth or revival. Well, literally it means rebirth or revival. But it is the revival of learning. It is the revival of ancient Greek and Roman literature. And it is also a transition from medievalism to modernism. Okay? Well, Renaissance, in other words, you can say that it is a reaction against the rigid ideals of medievalism. During Middle Ages, during medievalism, church was the most authoritative institute. There was the dominance of church, okay, and all the religious, political, social and economic matters used to be resolved under the dominance of church. So Renaissance reached in England. People changed their minds. Okay, they became secular. They started revolting against religion. So this is the result of Renaissance actually, that people became secular. The rigid beliefs and the rigid dogmatic beliefs of people started fading. Okay, so we can say that Renaissance is a very important era. It's a very important age regarding the development of English literature and regarding the development of the literature of all the world actually. So let's talk about Renaissance in particular. So Renaissance is a French word that means rebirth or revival. It is actually the revival of learning. The Renaissance was the whole process whereby Europe passed from a medieval to a modern civilization. So as I told you that it was a transition from medievalism to modernism. Okay? It represented the growth and development of human mind through contact with classical world of Greece and Rome. So people re-established their contact with the Greek and Roman world. They re-established their contact with the Greek and Roman literature and art. It was the revival of learning and especially of the study of Greek, which first weakened the rigid conventions of the Middle Ages. So the rigid conventions, the rigid traditions, the rigid beliefs of Middle Ages were weakened by Renaissance movement or Renaissance age. Well, the Renaissance is the period in Europe during 14th, 15th and 16th centuries when people became interested in the ideas and culture of ancient Greece and Rome and used these influences in their own art and literature. The movement started in Italy in 14th century and found its clearest echo in France. So if we talk about the origin of Renaissance, the movement originated in Italy in 14th century and afterwards it became popular in whole of the Europe. Okay, in 16th century it reached England and became popular in all over the European countries. Renaissance was a transition from medievalism to modernism. During the age of Renaissance, all the rigid conceptions of united Christendom of Middle Ages were abandoned. It paved the way for the revival of secular and humanistic spirit of the study of ancient authors. But now we'll talk about the features of Renaissance, the basic characteristics of the age of Renaissance. Okay, so first of all, we are going to talk about a Machiavellian approach to life. So, Niccolo Machiavelli, he was born in 1469 and died in 1527, was an Italian politician who explained in his book The Prince that it was often necessary for rulers to use immoral methods in order to achieve power and success. So, Machiavellian approach is followed by Francis Bacon. So he is a staunch follower of Machiavellian approach. So if we talk about his essay of Great Place, he allows the people who are ambitious to achieve high place to use crooked methods. Okay. The second thing is an emphasis on self-advancement. Okay. Well, during Renaissance, people were merely concerned about their self-advancement, and individually people were concerned about their self-advancement, and collectively all the people, all the nations were concerned about their national advancement. Okay, then a love of classical learning, especially of Latin authors. All the classical forms and genres of literature were revived, such as tragedy, epic, etc. Well, pastoral literature was also revived. So this is the main thing regarding the age of Renaissance, that all the ancient or classical forms or genres of literature were revived. Like tragedy is an ancient form of literature. Epic is an ancient form of literature. Well, if we talk about epic, Homer and Virgil are the founders or the fathers of epic. Okay, Homer belongs to Greece and Virgil belongs to Italy. So these two writers are called the fathers of epic. Okay, and then if we go back to Greece, ancient Greece, Aeschylus, Euripides and Sophocles were considered to be the fathers of tragedy. Okay, so these are two ancient genres of literature, ancient forms of literature. So these were revived during the Renaissance. And if we talk about English literature, tragedies were written by Christopher Marlowe and Shakespeare. Okay, epic was written by John Milton. Okay, so these things were revived during Renaissance. Well, there are some other characteristics of Renaissance, like love for power, craving for knowledge, appreciation of beauty and nature. Okay, during Renaissance, people had a great love for power. Dr. Faustus can be mentioned here. He says, all things that move between the quiet poles shall be at my command. Well, here he shows his love for power. Then there is craving for knowledge. At the very beginning of Dr. Faustus, we see that Faustus is taking a survey of all his collection of books. Okay, he goes on rejecting all the books because he has learnt almost all the branches of knowledge. Okay, and he opts for magic because he hasn't learnt magic yet. So this is his love for knowledge. He wants to gain knowledge. He wants to gain more and more knowledge. And he also said that when he will be able to master the art of magic, he will ask the spirits to tell him the secrets of heaven and earth. So this is again his love for knowledge and love for power. And in Francis Bacon we can also see this thing. Francis Bacon also gives references, he also gives allusions to the ancient classical writers. Okay. Then there is appreciation of beauty and nature, and there are some other characteristics of the age of Renaissance, like secularism and revolt against religion. Okay. As I already told you, that people during the age of Renaissance became secular. They started a revolt against religion because the corruption of the church was exposed. Okay. The members of the church were misusing their authority, as if we mention Geoffrey Chaucer, he clearly exposes the corruption of the clergymen. He clearly exposes the corruption of the members of church. Okay. So this is where the revolt against religion started. Well, humanism was another feature of the age of Renaissance. Okay. And this humanism was the result of anthropocentric movement of humanism. Anthropocentric movement of humanism emerged during the 15th century, and according to this movement, man was the center of the universe. Okay, man was considered to be the center of the universe, and according to this movement, in spite of all his follies, in spite of all his vices, man must be embraced. Okay. So people believed in the centricity of man. The individuals were given much more importance than anything else. Okay. So humanism was an important characteristic of the age of Renaissance. Then lastly, we have the characteristic of patriotism. Okay. During the age of Renaissance, people became patriots. Here again we can mention Dr. Faustus. Dr. Faustus, when he wants to learn magic, he says that he will build a brass wall around Germany to protect it from any outer invasion. Okay. Well, this is his love for his country, this is his love for his nation. So patriotism is there. During Renaissance, patriotism, love for knowledge, love for power, love for self-advancement, and appreciation of beauty, and many other were the prominent features. Dear students, this was all about today's lecture, today's video. I hope that you have got the complete understanding of the characteristics of the age of Renaissance. If there is any confusion, if there is any question, you can ask in the comments below. And if you want to suggest me a topic, you can also do that, and I'll try to make an informative video on that topic as well. So if you like the video, if you like the content, please hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.